Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome to Psychic Tapestry. I'm Ken Kessler, and she's Tony DeMeo. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Ken. Hi, everybody. Good evening.
You may have noticed, if you listen to the show with any regularity, that there's no music at the beginning. That's on purpose. There's not a tech issue. There's a rights issue, and I want to make sure that it's taken care of. So I've stopped not going to use the music for the short term at the beginning and ending of the show until I can make sure that the right people that it's being done correctly and fairly. So there's extra information you didn't know, but that's why. Anyway, we are here live. It is Tuesday, July 13th, almost halfway through July, if you can believe it already. Phone lines are open. 347-838-9903 is the number. There are some people hanging on already, so if you wanted to call in sooner is probably better than later. You can also connect to us through a few different ways. If you're listening on the Blog Talk Radio website on your desktop computer, you can scroll down, pop in the chat room, and join us there. I haven't said this in a while, but I'll go ahead and mention it now, that you can connect to the chat room through the app. If you're using the Blog Talk app, I don't think it's a mistake or anything's broken. I just don't think it was designed that way. I'd be happy to be proven wrong. If you are listening to the app and you pop into the chat room, you can tell me, and I'll clarify that. But if you're listening to the app, I don't think you can get in there. If you're on the computer, on the Blog Talk website on your computer, you can scroll down and pop in the chat room and join us there. So there, I've over-explained that. You can also connect through social media, facebook.com/Psychic Tapestry and @Psychic Tapestry on Twitter. The phone is the best because you may have follow-up questions for us. We may have them for you, and the back and forth of that conversation is easier on the phone than it is through the chat room or through social media. But you could be working or you could be doing something that makes it difficult to call in, or, I don't know, you could have your own reasons that are really none of my business, and that's okay too. Whatever the case may be, that's why those other options are available to you. Tonight, before we get to the calls, I wanted to talk a little bit about mediumship and the way that it works its way into readings, and specifically when it's a reading that's not a mediumship reading. If you're getting a reading about love or about your job or job search or moving or staying or whatever the case may be, but it isn't really about trying to connect with your great-grandfather or anyone in particular, and you're not asking for what you need to know from spirit or from angels. Sometimes spirit comes through anyway. And a very good example of that is on the companion podcast that Psychic Tapestry has called Psychic Tapestry 2. Tony was a guest on that last week, and we talked about past lives and about mediumship and a bunch of different things, and then she gave me a reading, a full reading like you would get if you booked a private reading with her. Well, no reading is really no two readings are really the same. So, but it's a really good example of what that could entail. And I didn't have specific questions for her. I just left myself wide open and asked what I needed to know. And Tony pulled some cards and tuned into her guides and my guides and told me some things. And then we sort of wrapped things up. And after we were really done with that episode, but it was still rolling and being recorded, she had a message from Spirit for me. And because Tony's a very kind person, she had waited to relay that because it was personal, and she wasn't sure that that would be something that I would want shared out in a regular podcast.
And also, you asked me not to make you cry.
Yes,
Remember?
Yes.
You did. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said that. I said I had said whatever I need to know, and I hope you don't make me cry.
Yeah, exactly.
And my father had come through.
Yes.
And it was really, it was beautiful. And I shared most of that in this week's podcast on Psychic Tapestry 2, so you would get an idea. And the tricky part of it is that mediumship is not necessarily part of every reading that you're going to get, but sometimes it does come through whether you're looking for that or not. And this was sort of an example of that. I did ask for what I needed to know, but I didn't ask specifically for my father or for messages that he had for me or anything like that. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit today with my own examples, and also, Tony, with some of yours. Yeah. How often would you say that, if you can, say that this happens when you do a reading?
Oh, I would say 80%, maybe.
Really?
It could be that high, yes, but it's not the whole reading.
Right.
You know, anybody can say to me, "Can you connect me too?" Sometimes they do it that way, and I say, "Let's see," and then I can tell them where their loved one is, because the guides and angels will tell me. You know, if we can't get them, it's usually because they died like last week, and they don't know how to do that yet. Or it could be that they're in spirit school. You know, they have to go to spirit school
right.
on the other side and learn some extra instruction and get prepared. So, but most of the time, they pop in, because whenever you think about your loved ones that are departed, they pop in. They really do. If they can, they will pop in. So you can pretty much call them through the energy that you put out to heaven. It's like a phone signal, I think.
But what about readings that aren't looking for that kind of thing? If somebody has
then
contacted
I don't
you,
get anybody. Yeah, I don't get anybody then.
So it's just a matter of leaving it open to the possibility that you could.
Yeah, well, see, people that get readings from me have probably read my bio, probably on Psychic Tapestry or my website, or they just heard word of mouth that I'm a medium as well. And I do a lot of readings where half mediumship and half messages from the angels. So I'll do, I'll do both. But it isn't my specialty. But I see them in my mind's eye, and I can give them descriptions, and they'll tell me different pertinent things to say. So I will do it. But it's not my specialty, only because I think when I was a little girl, I didn't know how to control it yet, and we lived in haunted places most of the time. And at least when I was a little tiny girl, the house was haunted. It was an old Victorian house that was actually my grandpa had bought it, and each floor was a different apartment, and we had a lot of room. So we were on the first floor, Grandpa was on the third floor, and Uncle Al and Aunt Angelina were on the second floor. So it was like, a big old house, but I saw the craziest things in there. I mean, really bad. And there was one old man that would come with a butcher knife and slash at me with it. And I was like 2.5. It was not fun. Yeah. So I literally went to Marianne Michaels years later and said, I want to turn this thing off. Can you help me? And, and so she said, listen, I'll teach you how to control it. And then it turns out I can't turn it off. It won't close. My third eye won't close. But I can get it to calm down. And then I found the best way is to go to my guides, and I set boundaries on when a spirit can approach me and where. And my guides protect me. So that's how I do it. But loving relatives, I'll talk to them for anybody. I don't mind. Because they're nice people.
So if somebody comes to you and they primarily want a relationship sort of reading,
yeah,
whether it's when he's coming back or that I'm ready for love and what's going to happen or what should I do or that kind of thing. In that sort of case, it's rare, if ever, that spirit comes through.
It depends. It could be a 50-50 reading, especially if they have a loved one in spirit and they're grieving still, or they're really missing them and they'd like to hear from them. The spirit already knows that, and they'll pop in. So a lot of people try to test me or the psychic, and they won't ask for their grandmother, but they'll say to their grandmother, come in, if she's real, then she'll know you're there. And then, of course, I say, your grandma's here. And then, so many things happen. Like you said, no two readings are the same. You don't know where you're.
And I think if you really are open to what you need to know, and you preface your reading with that, and I'm not trying to say to everybody who is on hold right now that that's what you need to do, but if you say, if you really are sincerely open to whatever it is you need to know, I think your odds are better that you will get a message.
Yeah, need to know. Right.
I know years ago on Psychic Tapestry, I had a friend on who's a psychic medium. Her name is April, and her last name is different now, and I can't remember what it is.
Okay.
April, if you're listening and you want to message me, I'll be glad to give you full credit. But she was on, and a caller wanted to know something about job. It was either something about her current job or that she was looking for work or something like that. And that was and that was it. But there was a dog that came through. And it was so powerful that we had to mention it to her. And it was like a huge weight had been lifted off of her shoulders because she had been worried about this dog. And April was able to mention some things that this dog has been doing, and when it shows up with her other dog, and she's seen that happen. So she was so happy, and she didn't get anything that she had thought she was calling about, any of that stuff answered, because that's what she really needed. That was what she needed to hear, what she needed to know, and that's what came through. I know, I think it was about a year ago, a woman called here, and I don't even remember what it was that she was asking about, but her father came through to me, and the song was an Eagles song, that one of the last songs that Glenn Fry recorded with the Eagles, It's Your World Now. And that was sort of his message to her, that he loves her and he wants her to, certainly to remember him, but to keep living her life because he got to live his, and it's her world now. And
that was
it was a message that really, it took her by surprise. She wasn't expecting that, but she was so grateful. And I'm not saying that because I'm so amazing. I'm just saying
well,
that
you
that's...
Are.
Oh. I have... I and many other people are ready to make lists for you on why that's not true. But anyway, she was so really very happy, and I don't think that we really even touched on the reason for her call.
Aww.
But
Right.
that was what she needed to know. And I don't remember specifically what led to. I think that you just mentioned that my dad was there. Well, when we were
I said your dad
recording
was there,
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
After,
I said, your dad is here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had. We had sort of wrapped up, and I set out all the stuff I usually say at the ending of that podcast, and as soon as that was over, you told me that my dad was there, and it was.
And you knew it.
I mean, it was. I knew it. I can feel most of the time. Yeah, I can feel most of the time when he's around, and the other thing is too, when you think about those you love that are on the other side, your thinking about them brings them to you. So he's around me a lot because I think about him a lot.
Exactly. That can even work for the living, If you think about people that you love and are connected to, they'll very often call you. Because we are energetic beings. Yeah.
I bet there are plenty of people who are listening right now who have had that experience when they were thinking about somebody and then the phone rings. Or in this day and age, maybe you get the text notification or messaging from Facebook when you're thinking of somebody. It is very powerful, and thoughts are things. But I think this does happen just about, I would say, to a lot of mediums who are doing readings that aren't necessarily mediumship readings. When someone asks for what they need to know, that when you leave it open like that, when you narrow, and sometimes even when you don't, it's just a matter of whether or not you're really open to it. And I know that it doesn't happen a lot on this podcast, and I think part of the reason is because we're doing mini readings and we're kind of rushed.
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen a lot. I mean, I came up with 2 examples, but this podcast has been on for about 7 years now, and almost every week, every once in a while we have a technical issue or a scheduling conflict or something, but we've been on for 7 years, and over the course of that time, I can only readily think of twice that this has happened. So it doesn't happen that often, but if you're, the odds are better if you're open to it. And I thought that was really a beautiful thing when you gave me that reading, and I wanted to share. I mean, my father didn't have any sort of Da Vinci Code secret that he was giving me.
Right.
But it was really nice. I think I left most of it in there. I took out some stuff that was a little bit was very, very personal for me and for family members. But the rest of it was there, and I wanted to share that. I just felt like that was part of the reading, and that could be something that happens when you book a reading with Tony. So I wanted to be able to give that example. I probably should mention how people can listen to that. Psychic Tapestry 2 is out, and it's 2 TOO because I think I'm so funny.
Right.
But it's out on most places where you would find podcasts. It's not on Blog Talk Radio, but it is on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and lots of others. If you go to psychictapestry.com and you'll see one of the choices is listen. If you click on that, it's for this podcast and for the Blog Talk podcast, and you'll find many of the places where you can also listen to this Blog Talk podcast. There's a little player there. You can hear the latest episode. There are a dozen or so choices of other podcasting sites where you can find it, and there's something that you can click on for the archives at Blog Talk Radio. But if you hold your cursor over listen, you'll see Psychic Tapestry 2 pop up. And it's a similar thing with lots of places where you can listen. And there's also embedded on that page all the episodes. So far there have been 4. And so all the episodes are there, and you can listen to them right there on that page. I will mention that the one with the 4 episodes are, there's the first episode where I talk about being a skeptic, or how I was a skeptic. Then there's an episode that I have a big segment from an old podcast from Blog Talk. It was Tony's first appearance back in 2014, and that's on there. And then Tony and I did sort of a follow-up one a week later where we talked about some of those same things and where she did the reading for me. And then the 4th episode is the mediumship part of the reading that she had done the previous week. So that's what's on there, and they're all different running times. All the ones on Blog Talk are an hour long, but these are all different ones. And just so you know, it's not an ego thing to start a second podcast. I just thought that this would be a way that I might be able to reach more people, bring more people to this podcast, and just kind of get the message out to people who need it, that love never dies, that everyone you have ever known and loved is still around. Just if they've left this plane, they didn't end. That wasn't that.
That's right.
They're still around. They still love you. They still come around you when you think about them, and I think that that's very important. And I think there's a lot of hope and healing attached to that. And I thought this was one more way that I can get that message out there. So that's why there's a second podcast. There will be some overlap in some of the things we talk about. There's no calls on that other podcast, but it's just a place for, just a place for conversation, whereas this is conversation and calls. And I know those who are hanging on the phone right now probably think there's a little too much conversation. You should take some calls already. So
I'm sure they do.
So anyway, that's the story about that. And if you want to hear the message that my dad had for me, and really, again, and that's not why I put it up there, but if you want to sort of get an idea of what it's like when Tony gives a message from Spirit, I think it's a pretty good example. And thank again, thank you. No 2 readings are the same. Messages from Spirit are different for everyone. So don't listen to that and think, well, I'm going to get a message like that for me, and because it's not the same. So you won't get a message the same as that. Or then, again, because I said that, maybe you will.
For you.
You will get something that you need to know. And if all of this talking makes you think, I would like a private reading with Tony, here's how you can do that. You go to psychictapestry.com and you click on our readers and teachers, and you'll see You'll see Tony's page and my page and my wife Lisa's page and a few others, and you can click on them, find out more about them, and you can book a private reading. So you can get a nice long reading like that is just for you, that nobody else is listening in on, and you can really focus on your question or questions or topic or topics, because for this podcast we don't have time to be able to do more than just really one question and then move on to the next call. That's all that we can handle on this one, and even then sometimes we don't get to a lot of.
No, we've been getting to more though. I think we did 4 last week. That was good.
Did we? Well, maybe we should. Maybe I should stop talking now and we could get to some calls now. I'm.
All right.
I have a new rescue dog, and he's trying to decide if he's coming in the office or not. But I don't want him to sit outside the door and cry. Nope, he's walking away. All right, I'm closing the door. He'll be all right.
Okay. Till he comes back.
Yes, till he comes back. Pardon that interruption. Sorry about that. Okay, phone line is 347-838-9903. Chat room is open. I'll keep an eye on social media. Before we get to the calls, Tony, if I haven't done a good enough job of explaining who you are and why you're here, maybe you should do that.
Help me enough. Okay.
Well, a little more. What you're going to do and what you're going to do.
Okay. Well, I think we did touch on the fact that I'm a psychic medium, and I'm also psychic since birth, and my specialty is an angel spirit guide reading. That's for your highest good, and I do that because God gave you free choice. So I think the best messages do come from our guides and our angels, and they love us and they have our best interests at heart. So that's what we're going to do for you tonight. Now it's your turn, Ken.
Okay. I'm a psychic medium as well. I'm also a music intuitive. I get most messages from music, and I have a bunch of psychic jukeboxes. That's another thing you can find on the website at psychictapestry.com, because I opened them up for everybody. I'll be using that. I have 11 psychic jukeboxes that I'll be using tonight, and these are basically players that I've loaded up with music, and there are almost 20,000 songs right now through all the players, and I've got them going randomly shuffling, and I ask my guides and angels and your guides and angels to give me the song that is for you. When we pick up your call, I'll let you know what's playing and what I think it means for you. For example, when I was getting ready, I was guided to share this song on Facebook and Twitter earlier. It's a song by Huey Lewis called Bad is Bad. And if that came up for you, quite simply, bad is bad. A lot of times we make excuses for bad behavior, whether it's our own or somebody else's. And bad is bad. It's better just not to behave that way. And if it's not you, if it's somebody else, stop making excuses for them. That's what the message is. That's what the feeling is that I get. That's the message from that song. And I would mention that to you, but that song or Huey Lewis might have a specific personal meaning for you that's different, and that's okay. Music's very personal, and it's like that sometimes. Angels and spirit like to use what's in our heads as the readers to trigger in you what you need to know. And sometimes that's just as simple as my saying to you, Huey Lewis in the news. So that's what I will be doing tonight. And no more and. Let's take some calls. 347-838-9903 is our number. Hi, thanks for hanging on. What's your first name?
Hi, it's Mindy.
Hi, Mindy.
Hi, Mindy. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Washington State.
And how can we help you tonight?
Thanks for taking my call. I just have a question about, my kids' with what's, I feel like I kind of, I don't know, I just need some guidance with my kids. Like,
okay. Are they adult children?
I mean, is it finished, or what was that?
Are they adult children?
16 and 14.
Okay, they're not all the way grown. All right. Let's see. Well, from what the angels are telling me, and from the first card that I have drawn here, it's called the Four of Action. They're saying that I think motherhood has been a great achievement for you in your life. They're saying that your hard work will pay off, and there will be a time when you can enjoy yourself again and be less, less stressed, I guess we could say. They're saying in time abundance and a feeling of safety and security will be yours. And then this is a good line here. This is saying there is no cause for concern for you about anything right now. And then another meaning of this card, because it is an action card, is that there may be an engagement or a wedding coming up, or a long-term commitment between a couple. So they're saying a happy family life is also a part of this card, and they're saying you have earned a well-deserved break. The angels want you to do something for yourself and those you love. They want you to allow yourself to get caught up in the moment and enjoy all that heaven has blessed you with. And you shouldn't have a care in the world. Does any of that help you with your children?
No, it's not really. I don't know. There's the action part, maybe. Yeah. It's kind of.
Are
it's
you
kind of
concerned
different
about
from,
them, or do you feel like they're at risk as teenagers?
And I feel like I've got no control over the whole situation. They're not with me right now. They're with. Yeah, and so I feel like well, they're with their dad's mom. The adopted mom. So she's raising my kids, and and so she's. But they won't talk to me anymore on Facebook or anything. I don't know what.
I'm sorry, honey, but the angels were telling you you are a good person. You are a good mom. You just really care. And teenagers are very, very difficult. They often rebel as a natural way to separate from parents and kind of come into their own. It is a very challenging part of raising a child, a teenager. It's not a lot of fun. This next card that I have from you, honey, I'm going to do too, is Inner Strength. They're telling me that you have been blessed with the depths of heart and kindness. You've been blessed with the depth of heart and kindness, and you can accomplish anything. There is no challenge you cannot overcome. They're saying you don't realize how strong you are, but God knows that you have the gift of gentle strength, and your spirit nature will always win over against others' negativity. So if you have a situation where someone is giving you trouble or, irritation, and they're very negative, a negative part of your life, just know that your goodness and your spirituality and the good person you are will always win out. They're saying this is also a good time for you to forgive and forget. Let some resentments go. And that you are about to come into your own as far as your personal power is. Okay? I think that's good advice for you. And they're saying, please be gentle with yourself. And now I'm going to give you the 10. Thank you for calling, honey.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Mindy. The song that was playing when we picked up their call is an old Bob Dylan song. This version is a recent one that Chrissie Hynde did. She's the lead singer for the Pretenders. It's called "Tomorrow Is a Long Time." Are you familiar with that song? And it's okay if you're not.
No, huh?
Okay. "Tomorrow Is a Long Time" is basically about how when things aren't going great in any particular area, it seems to last forever. And I know that's got to be what it feels like right now. Just one thing on top of another, that it's not getting better and it's just taking forever for anything to happen. And I just want you to know this is not forever. This is for right now. Teenagers can be lots of things that aren't necessarily very nice. That doesn't help you any. But I know I married into some stepkids, and they're wonderful people now. They were really good kids for the most part, but it was really hard. And teens hold their cards close to their vest so they don't tell you, but they take things out on you, or they adults in their lives always very well. And you have a unique situation where they're not in your home, and it makes it that much harder. And they probably have questions about that they don't understand because they've had no life experience yet. But none of that helps you today. Today it just seems like tomorrow is a long time. It's going to take forever to get here. But, 2-3 years from now, when they're in college or out on their own or wherever they are, when they're adults or at least more adult-shaped, healing can happen. They'll be able to understand better where you're coming from, what you've been through, and be able to heal this relationship. I know that it's hard right now, and I wish that there was a magic word or phrase I could give you that would make everything okay. And everything will be okay. It's just going to take some time for you guys all to get to that place. But hang in there and just know that this is not how it's always going to be.
Okay.
I hope that helps some.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling us, Mindy. We're going to think good thoughts for you and your kids.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good night, honey.
347-838-9903 is our number. Hi,
Hello.
Thanks for hanging on. What's your first name?
Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
Where are you calling from?
New Jersey.
Oh.
How can we help you tonight?
I wanted to see what guidance was coming through as far as the town that I live in. I'm not happy here, and I have been getting ready to move for quite some time, but it hasn't been the time yet to move, but I seem to go through these cycles of just absolutely hating it here, and hating the people.
Aww.
So just seeking some guidance there.
Okay. The first card that came up for you, Jessica, is the Seven of Emotions. And the deeper meaning is this. Sometimes it can be very difficult to make big choices. And right now, you're feeling that you should move. We may have multiple options that appeal to us, or perhaps we don't like any of the possibilities that are open to us. So the guides and angels want you to tune into them and listen to your intuition. They want you to take the necessary time to choose wisely because it is in your best interest to leave a place where you're not happy. And then the next part is, if your guidance tells you that you're stalling, then move forward. Your body uses feelings as a way to guide you in making the right decision. Listen to your emotional compass. Then you'll know how and when to proceed. If you're still uncertain, ask your guardian angels for a sign. Okay? They say it's time for you to get focused. It's time for you to get moving. And you said it's the timing is just off for moving. Is there a lease or something, or do you have to sell your place? Is it something about that?
It's just that I just kept feeling like I was going to have a certain job opportunity or it to be very clear on where I was moving. And now I'm thinking, well, you know what? I've been around in circles with this place several times, or several cycles of like not being happy here. And it's like, I think I might just have to just pick any place, and I think any place might be better. It's not terrible here. It's not terrible, and that's why I settle myself down over the years. But the bottom line is, I want to create a life that I love, and I don't feel that way here. So what am I waiting for?
That's
really?
Fabulous. And you know what? This next card speaks directly to that. Out with the old, in with the new. They're saying the guides are leading you toward joy, toward a time when you'll be much happier. They want you to keep a watchful eye out for signs that it's time for you to head in a new direction. You may be led to change your career, change your location, and even change some of the people that are closest to you. Perhaps there will be an event that guides you to release old beliefs in favor of a whole new philosophy of life. They say change can be very challenging, but it can also be exhilarating. So the important thing to remember is that your angels want you to be happy and fulfilled. Everything that happens in this life has a purpose, and there is a meaning toward that end. And if you can embrace that truth with love and gratitude in your heart, then no matter what you experience in life, you will be blessed. But you're about to encounter some rapid life changes that can include a move and a new career. So that kind of speaks right to it. And this card is meant to be a wake-up call. So it is time for you to make a decision and go to a place that will make you happier.
Boy, yeah, I want to be happy and excited about it. It brings up like fears, so I'm going to have to sit with that and think, yeah.
Well, there's always a little bit of a fear when you're trying something new, but you can look at it a different way. You can think of it as very exciting, as an opportunity for everything new and a fresh start.
I know. I want that so bad. Yeah, I'm going to have to give it to myself, I guess, rather than waiting on the universe to bring it to me.
Oh,
that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
No, it's not. Yeah, we have to take action. And the guides are telling you it's time to take action. And I know you're going to come up with the right place. You will. You'll find it. Just kind of relax and be open, and they will lead you to the right place. All right?
Yeah.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you to Ken now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
The song that was playing when we picked up your call was a song originally by the Rascals called "How Can I Be Sure." This one was covered by David Cassidy. I'm guessing you probably don't know that song.
No, but it sounds like it's fitting.
Okay. Yes, it absolutely is fitting. You're saying you were just saying, why haven't you done it yet? And really, why haven't you? The song is "How Can I Be Sure." If you wait until you're sure, you'll be 75 and you won't want to do anything. You can't be sure, but you know that where you are right now is not the place for you. And I get that it can be scary, the unknown, casting your lot out into the wind and going somewhere new and starting over. And it can be exciting too because it's a new chapter. But one of the things that you just need to remember is that this isn't your only choice, your only chance, and this isn't forever. If you pick a place and it's not what you thought it was going to be, you don't have to stay there forever. You don't have to be, you know what, I ordered this, I'm going to sit here and eat it. You don't have to do that. You can try again. Just, think about the things that are important to you about where you want to live. And I have lived in a lot of places, so I get that. Because no matter what you come up with on your list, you're going to find that there's different stuff in that place that you pick. And the items on your list might be there, and there are going to be other things too, and some of them you're going to like, and some of them maybe not so much. There isn't going to be a perfect place, but there could be somewhere that makes you happier or allows you to be happier than you are now. And that's really what you want. And it could be anywhere. But just do it. And if it's not the place for you, do it again and keep doing it until you find a place. Don't expect, the way I said that, I don't want it to sound like you move somewhere and if you're not happy, move somewhere else the next month. Give it some time. Give it like a year when you move somewhere so that you see the place in all the seasons, so that you get a chance to get past it's a new place, I don't know where anything is, and it's different, this is different, and that's different. Give yourself a chance to get used to those differences and to get out and experience what it has to offer before you decide, yes, it's a keeper, or no, this is another dud. Because when you make a big decision like this and you move somewhere new, there is a lot of that fear and there's a lot of that doubt that I've just made a horrible mistake, horrible, expensive mistake. Moving to a new place and moving is such a pain. So you're gonna do this and you're gonna go somewhere new and you're going to probably have feelings of doubt and regret and all that stuff in the beginning. And just know that that's normal and give the place a chance. And just know that, it doesn't have to be as big and giant a life decision as we like to make it. Because this doesn't have to be, this isn't, you're not signing a 100-year lease somewhere. You don't have to stay forever, but you can shake off the New Jersey, assuming that you're moving out of the state of New Jersey. You can shake that off and see what the new place has to offer. And after you've been there for a while, if you're like, you know what, this isn't so hot either, you can try again. But I think that if you get to a new place and you give it a chance, I think the excitement of starting over and being somewhere new is going to go a long way to making you feel happy there. I hope that helps.
Yeah. Oh, it does. You guys brought up a lot of fear for me, but I think that, I have to journal about it because I can't do another round of another year of being here. I really don't want to. So,
you'll find it. You'll find your right place.
Yeah.
I had my heart set on that I was going to move into my forever home the next move, and that's why I was keeping the faith for it. But it's a thing of, I guess I'm going to have pressure.
That's a lot of pressure to put on where the next place is. I can't tell you how many times I've moved into a place and said, okay, the only way I'm moving out is in a pine box. Okay, well, that didn't happen, and that the last time I said that was, I don't even know how many moves ago, but I jokingly send out messages to my friends that here's my new address. It's number 37 in a series. Collect them all. Because, you gotta find.
That. I just really want to have my own house. That's the thing.
You know what?
Maybe I'll look at renting a house.
Yeah, you should absolutely look at renting, and that lets you try on the place like it's a new outfit. And you can try it on, and you can learn more about it. You can see where you would want to have a forever home there. And it lets you figure out a lot about the place and helps you make a good decision about it without having that pressure of, this is it, this is my one shot, this is my forever home. It has to be right or everything is ruined for the rest of my life, because no place is going to live up to that.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to go pray and meditate about it. That's my job for a couple days. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for calling us.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. I think we can squeeze at least one more in. Mm-hmm. Hi. Thanks for hanging on. What's your first name?
Hi, this is Mandy. I'm calling from Pennsylvania. Thanks for squeezing me in there.
Hi. You're welcome. How can we help you tonight, Mandy?
My concerns this evening are kind of a mixture of one and two, but the last two callers that I know were pressed for time here. The community that I'm living in, they are pressuring me to move due to wanting to demolish it. Now, I guess my biggest question is, should I take the rental that they want me to take, or should I pass this one up and take my chances here of, riding it out a little bit longer and finding something, or if you get what I'm saying, I don't know if I should take this particular rental that's at the beginning of the works.
Well, you're saying the one you're in, you can't stay in. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, the one that I'm in. Yes, they are demoing, and probably about 75% of the residents are out. But I see, I know I do have my rights, and I don't want to just sign something to get me out the door per se. And that's what I feel like, they're trying to do, but I don't want to pass out.
Have you looked at the other one? And do you like it?
I've looked at probably a dozen rentals, and I'm just not drawn to any of them. But like with them pressuring me and these scare antics, I'm leaning towards taking this most recent one. Excuse me, hon?
Yeah, I would take the one that seems the best option. Because if you can't stay there, you're going to have to go. And the card that I picked is the Five of Thought. It says you kind of thought you were on the right path, that things were the way you wanted them, but now you've run into a huge challenge, and it looks as though you're not going to be able to continue where you are without making a big change. And the angels are saying there is a better place for you, and one that will eventually make you much happier. So they say, trust that the difficulties you're experiencing with your plans are simply signs from the angels. They want you to see a larger and more divinely guided vision for your life. Negative people, and it seems like this situation is negative, it's very draining. And
most
the conflict
definitely.
Created, makes and the conflict that it's raising within you is making it very difficult for you to focus on what would make you happy. But
most
the angels
definitely.
say, and the angels say make thoughtful choices about where you want to be, because that includes who you want to spend time with. And they say you do have a big decision to make, but you will be victorious. So kind of take a deep breath, step back. And how much time are they giving you to move?
Well, it's really up in the air. You know, different people tell me different things, a lot of lying and manipulation and things like that. And, you know, and they're pressuring me to take this another property of theirs, and they told me that I could go month to month until December. And so, you know, and versus, you know, the year lease that it is, and indeed, unless I wanted to stay, then past December. So, you know, basically just get me out. But then, you know, then we're talking about a second move, you know, financial and just the physical.
Yeah, I would go look for my own place then, if you can't stay at the one they want to move you into. And I'm sure you'll find it, honey. I mean, think positively, Mandy. You have to have a good vision of what you want in order to manifest it.
It's just so hard to manifest when those are breathing down your neck, and I feel like if I don't take their property, I haven't found anything else. Now, I don't have to move in December. They're just saying I could go month to month up until December.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe that is your option.
That they would give me that leeway because of this situation.
Okay. Well, that doesn't sound too bad. I'm going to give you to Ken now for your message.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Mandy. What happens if you go month to month? What happens in December?
Well, I could say I have up until the end of December to move out. So virtually, if I want to move to their other property of theirs for 1 month or not move until December, I can. However, if I decide I like it there, I could finish the year lease out. But with that, you know, I don't want to set myself up for the financial and all the way around the border strain of moving twice in 6 months. It's just myself and a 4-year-old, and I have physical health issues.
Right. Well, the song that came up when we took your call was Still the Same by Bob Seger, and I feel like if you move into their other property, it's still the same. You're going to have to do something else in December, and I think the best thing for you is that you've got like 5 months and change to look and find something else. You don't have to tell them anything right now, despite the pressure that they're trying to put on you. Just, you know, take some time and look until you find something in the next 5 months, and then you can avoid the double move. I'm a big fan of lists, and I would say, you know, make a list of what it is you're looking for and anything that might fit.
Oh, no, I'm not trying to interrupt you, hon, but I mean, I don't have until December to avoid a second move.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I misunderstood, but
no, it's okay. That's why I wasn't trying to interrupt you, but I didn't want you to go on with the wrong impression.
Okay. That's fine. I still think that with them trying to, I'm going to have to pop you on hold here. We're just about done, but that if they're trying to force you into taking another place, it's still the same. I think you're better off trying to find something on your own and doing that as quickly as you can. I hope that helps. We're running out of time. Blog Talk Radio is going to cut us off here, whether we're ready or not. Thanks everybody who called in tonight. We love you and sure do appreciate you. Apologies to those who are hanging on. Tony and I will be back at this time next Tuesday. And if you can't wait, go to psychictapestry.com, click on our readers and teachers, and you can book a private reading. In the meantime, have a great week. Stay safe. And Tony, thanks again for giving up part of your Tuesday.
It's my pleasure. I love you, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Take care.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.